He texted me, he's like, you didn't open the store today. You actually living a dream of your dad.
Hello and welcome to Holding Heritage. This is a space to explore and have honest conversations around the Asian North American experience. We'll focus on Canadian refugee stories, family, heritage, and bridging generational gaps. My name is Holly. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello and welcome to this episode of Holding Heritage, one that is part of another entrepreneur series in collaboration with Vancouver Island's Immigrant Welcome Center's Welcoming Communities Coalition and Campbell River's People's Project magazine, which features a number of amazing individuals within the community. The goal of these interviews aims to learn more about and amplify the voices of newcomers to Campbell River who own businesses in the community. We chat with them about their stories, successes, and challenges to help dispel negative misconceptions about the impact of newcomers on the Canadian economy. We want to highlight diversity and underrepresented voices and contribute to making our communities more welcoming for all. In this episode, Christine Salzman from the Immigrant Welcome Center and I talk with Taj Singh, born and raised in Punjab, India, and proud owner of Campbell River's very first Pita pit. Taj's energy screams passion the moment he walks into the room. It was incredibly inspiring to get to chat with him about his work ethic, family, core values, and journey building his career, from leaving India to university abroad in New Zealand, quickly climbing up his career ladder, and eventually settling in Campbell River, starting his very own business. He is an absolute powerhouse and role model, so let's jump right in.
My name is Taj Singh, and I'm the proud owner of Pita Pit in Campbell River.
So maybe you can start with telling us when you came to Canada and why Canada?
Yes, I came to Canada in 2017. I left my house when I was 19 years old. So I left the house in 2009. In the first immigration experience that I ever actually had was in New Zealand. I immigrated to New Zealand from India, from Punjab, north, yes. I went there and did my studies. I did my business administration course, and before that I actually did my bachelor in computer science in India, yes. That was my master's.
Why did you choose to go to New Zealand then if you had a BA in comp sci? Why did you choose to go study business administration?
Yes, my dad always been around in different countries, and we always hear stories from him. So he'd been to Germany, he'd been to Italy, he'd been to US, he'd been to Canada as well, and it's just amazing how he always tells us in different cultures actually comes together in different countries. So in the back of my mind, it was always a kind of a dream of actually going out there and experiencing the world. I'm actually from a background of a farm boy. We actually literally born and raised on farmhouse. So when I was doing my studies, the goal was to always actually experience different world that's out there, not just what's happening around you and in 500 kilometers kind of area. And of course, my parents were just 100% support behind it.
Taj's family in India farmed a variety of different things such as potatoes and wheat. Throughout our conversation with Taj, he spoke so highly and endearingly of his father, who clearly played and continues to play a big role in his life in terms of inspiration and guidance.
He lived in the US. He lived there 12 years. I remember being 9 years old when Dad left the house. It was always just immigration stories you hear, families living in some different countries, and we would just talk to him over the phone and stuff. And so finally when he decided to take a retirement and go back to India, I was 19 years old. I was 2 inches taller than him.
And that was when you were leaving?
Yes.
So he came back as you were leaving?
So basically, yeah, we kind of had a 7-8 months amazing time, amazing stories. He missed a lot of us because we didn't see each other for 12 years at the time. But when we finally did, we actually kind of clicked together. And
did he leave to work in the US to make money to send home?
Yes, exactly. Because farming is great. At the time, it was not really advanced the way it is today. So it was not money making. It was just hand to mouth kind of thing. But he always had a dream for his kids to actually go into better schools, to have better studies and things like that. So, but that was only possible. Go and pursue different countries and see if they can make something out of it. And he was a great businessman. And I think this is where my business comes in as well. Like it was just have him as an experienced background, and we can always actually just like, hey Dad, how do you deal with this? Right?
Do you call him for advice?
Yes, absolutely. I think he's the best advisor I can ask for.
What did he?
And he doesn't charge.
Where did he work? What did he do in the U.S.?
We actually owned a 7-Eleven stores.
Okay.
Yes, he worked in a bunch of different stores where he actually met a lot of people and gained a lot of experiences.
Taj's father thrived and diligently worked in the U.S. the 12 years he was away, and went from working as an incredibly valued employee in many different establishments to owning his own 7-Eleven store. There's no wonder why Taj naturally gravitates towards similar goals. At the age of 19, Taj left India to study in New Zealand and begin gathering work experience any way that he could. He started with working odd jobs while balancing his school schedule, and eventually got into working for Subway, where he built really great relationships with his managers, who are still supportive of him today. And at that time, they gave him many opportunities that led to him managing multiple Subway locations. Eventually, while thinking about wanting to settle and build an actual life, Taj decided on Canada to be the place to do that.
So then how did you end up in Canada then, and in Campbell River specifically?
I actually wanted to do something different once I actually worked for Subway for so long. Immigration rules in New Zealand is a little bit difficult than what's in Canada is. I find that Canadian immigration is a little bit easier if you want to become a resident or want to actually settle into a country. So the day I landed in Prince George, it was minus 28. So nobody told me that it's that cold. But then I realized it was quite normal in Prince George. So I started working, I think within 2 weeks I got a job at Staples as a sales consultant. And then 3 months after I got promoted to an internal role, to a consultant into a tech department. And then I was actually became a services manager. And they told me one day, and it's like, Taj, we have an opening as a sales manager in Campbell River. I never heard of it. I was like, how's the weather up there? They said like, it's great. It's like, when I move. So they said like this Saturday, I packed my bags and I was just like, I'm on my way.
You weren't in Prince George for long?
No, not at all. I was just like, got out of there.
Like 6 months, you said 8 months.
6 months. I got 2 promotions in 6 months, and the third promotion, they asked me if I wanted to move to Campbell River, and I said like, yes. I was just, I don't know, I was just a great salesman, I guess. I was not a salesman, I was just a kind of sales buddy, you know. Most of the time the sales were just like, oh, that's a pretty color. I have another one too, right? It was just like, so it came really natural. So I landed in February 2017 in Prince George, and I came to Campbell River in November 2017.
Taj's impressively quick climb and progression upwards in his career is a testament to how charismatic, kind, and hardworking he is. His ambition and openness to adventure and growth is so admirable, even when making the decision to relocate to Campbell River, a place where he knew nobody at all.
You didn't know
Nope,
anyone here?
Nobody.
Was there like a social group or people who helped you make this community feel like home?
Yes, the team that I walked into, and it was just so welcoming. At the time, it was so funny because now I see a lot of my community people around here. But in 2017, it wasn't the case because NIC wasn't accepting students at the time, accepting international students. So that's when really everybody started coming in, and you're seeing a lot of Indian communities coming into the town. Otherwise, we only had 20 families. And so before I even actually, the first time I went to the temple, everybody knew that I was a new in the town. And they said like, hey, we know you actually. I'm like, I don't know. But it was just so welcoming, especially my team, my general managers of the store and the team that I worked with. We all like kind of clicked in together. I was the only Indian actually working in the store at the time. And they asked me questions about my religion and about myself or about my country. I was just so over the moon actually telling them because I am proud Indian. And I just recently become a citizen of Canada. But still, they know how they say home is home, right? So I just love sharing that, especially like now we have such a vast variety of people that are working with us.
How do you stay connected with Indian culture then? Is it through mainly the temple, or?
It's mainly through the temple, yeah, because that was the only time I actually seen any Indian person. It's funny because I always tell everybody, it's just like it took me a month to actually find one Indian person. Because Prince George is a different story. There's a lot of my community there, and there's a couple of temples, and not one.
I moved here from Surrey.
Oh, so good. There you go. So you know what I'm talking about. The temple, I still meet them, and they know now we open the store. So it's really understanding community as well. So.
How did you go from working and being a manager at Staples to opening a Pita Pit?
A love of food. I just love cooking.
And you opened in November 2021.
Yes.
So that's actually not too long ago.
No, yesterday we finished our 8 months.
Why Pita Pit of all things?
It's so funny because the first ever open Pita Pit in New Zealand was 2011, and I was working for Subway at the time. And they asked me one day, and I was like, Taj, there's a new restaurant called Pita Pit. And they were opening just down the road, and it's like, oh, you should go check it out, right? So what's the food about? What's the idea? And this and that. When I went there and I actually had the food and I called my owners, I'm like, oh, I love this.
Subway did not want to hear that.
No, they did not. And it's really, the Subway actually is set up in its own style. They haven't changed much in the last 10 years, in my experience at least. I can tell you literally the menu. I haven't worked in Subway for 6-7 years now, but I can tell you what's the menu right now because they never changed it. But I at the time, it was just so, Pita Pit was so refreshing and a different idea, and not having to actually have just bread. That's the biggest thing. And not anything microwave. For me, it was those things because idea is the same in both restaurants. So I had choice to make that do I want something that I'm comfortable with, or do I want something which is more futuristic? More like a culture-oriented as well, because if you see, our grills are set up in a way we don't mix our meats with the veggies. They're all set up separately, and for some cultures, it's a really important thing. Mm-hmm. And for vegetarian, we have portioning on the grill. We don't cook meat on that side. And being Indian, I can understand that, mm-hmm. right? And we have a lot of Muslims customers that comes in, and they absolutely love it. And the small little things like this actually goes a long way because we want to reach out to the communities and see like what the things we can do. As I say, like every community that you go to, even if it's big or small, is all people are coming together and different cultures. And I think that makes a huge difference in terms of businesses and stuff.
How have you been supported by the community?
Amazing. I actually got called from Pita Pit head office and great opening, great success, what we had in the last 8 months. Some stores can actually take years to actually accomplish what we actually accomplished in the last 6-8 months. When we brought Pita Pit to town, 90% of our team actually never seen a pita before. So when we first day, we actually started doing orientation and we actually put a pita on the counter. This is a pita.
I remember there was a Pita Pit at UBC. We used to go to Pita Pit a lot at UBC. But.
Seeing how Taj so proudly champions his Indian culture and heritage was inspiring. We asked him if there were any aspects of his upbringing that he feels have really contributed to his success and work ethic today. I think what he shared with us is so relatable to so many of us, children of immigrants and refugees.
Yes, the way we were raised in a family was a good job was not just given. You really have to do your work for it. It was not that easy, like, just A for the efforts kind of thing. So we really had to actually work hard for it. I still remember, and I get really emotional about it because the day we were opening, the first day we were going to open at 9 o'clock, and my dad texted me 8:30 because he wasn't able to come in and to be a part of this. He texted me, he's like, you didn't open the store today. You actually living a dream of your dad. And I took a screenshot of that. And I'm like, this is for me is important, right? And sorry.
Sounds like you were really supportive dad.
Yes, no, it's like my mom as well. Like everybody is the same way. Like dad would ask, like, how's business going? Like mom will ask, hey, did you eat today? So everything, a balance of everything. And I think that's important. Like that shows our work ethics. We don't go home because we done enough for a day. We go home and we are satisfied. Like, yes,
When you think of the future in Campbell River, what do you hope the community looks like for you and your partner and your business?
I think the future is really bright. So when I see like a small kids come to Pita Pit and they say like this is better than McDonald's, and at that time we actually look at each other and I'm like, this is a proud moment. In that way, I see like now people are more aware of their health than they ever been before, and all of this stuff. And Pita Pit actually have everything to offer.
Do you have any advice you would give to other newcomers in terms of how to settle successfully in Campbell River?
I think I would like to pass along this, something that someone gave it to me, was learn everything you can. Don't say like that I know everything, and pursue your dreams with it. And listen to your parents, your family members, your friends, because sometimes others know you well than you know yourself, right? Because if I ask my mom what I like to eat, I probably actually have probably 5-second pause before I answer that question. But she wouldn't think of that for a second. She would just say like, oh, he likes that, right? So I think that's, for me, is how I did it, is just listen and just take as much information you can. And not every information is important. So, you just pick and choose. Pick the good ones.
I love that advice that Taj is passing along. It's something that I've actually heard from my own dad all throughout my childhood as well. Being open and willing to learn, work hard, and gather skills from all aspects of your life and people you meet is such an important part of growing, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for tuning into Christine and I's chat with Taj Singh, proud owner of Campbell River's Pita Pit, located at 1035 Shoppers Row. Be sure to stop by and support the store if you're ever in the area. Taj has such ambitious goals and a stellar work ethic, and I can't wait to see where he goes. I hope it inspires you to get out there and pour your efforts into whatever it is that you are passionate about. Remember that you can also catch the featured article by Christine Salzman published in Campbell River's People's Project magazine. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode, and I will meet you back here again very, very soon. Bye! Intro and outro music by Blue Wednesday. Be sure to check him out. He's amazing. And as always, Holding Heritage is proudly created, produced, and geographically based on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded lands of the Tsleil-Waututh and Comox nations of the Coast Salish peoples.